Alrighty, g'day guys. Welcome back to Stat Chat Sports. If you've clicked on this video, you know what it is. It's the preview for the AFL Grand Final. Geelong Sydney, huge clash. All four of the boys are on the call. We're here to preview this one. Fellas, lots to cover in this game. Lots to cover in this video as well. Tazza, let's start with you because I want to talk about some of the injuries. We're recording this early in the week, so we're just speculating at this point. But always a talking point is injuries in grand final week, and we've got two to cover: Holmes and Sam Reid, one from each team.
Yeah, they're both two crucial injuries in their own unique ways. I mean, Sam Reid is we've spoken about him in our game review of the prelim. He is a crucial part of that forward line, not the cornerstone, but he is crucial. And Sydney probably don't have the best options to replace him. There's probably Amadi and McLean off the top of my head. To me, that's quite a drop off. If we're looking at Geelong, we're looking at Max Holmes and replacing sort of that gut run winger. At the time of recording, I mean, there is optimism that he may play, but it kind of provides a bit of it's a 50-50 call. Do you really want to take anyone in that's underdone in a grand final when you've got someone, say, like Sam Menegola sitting on basically out of the squad? And from all accounts, I think he's pretty much ready to go. I mean, if it was my call, I'm putting Menegola in every day of the week. Holmes has been great, though. So I think he deserves, if he can prove himself, he deserves the chance to go.
Yeah, big risk with a hammy, though, in grand final week. So I find that hard to get up. But potentially when you're watching this, you may already know what's going on with that. But let's talk about the teams and how they're going to have to play to win this game. BT, you're probably one of the best minds that we've got here on the channel. Let's talk about what Sydney's going to have to do to win this game and beat Geelong.
Well, when they face off in round two, Heaney kicked 5, so you can't rely on that. And that was at SCG. So they're going to have to find another way. He could easily pop up and kick 5 again. He's that quality of a player. I think it's going to come down to the McCartan brothers. If those two can intercept and stop Hawkins Cameron, clearly that's going to go a hell of a long way. So it's those two, and then it comes down to like your Luke Parker and Callum Mills. I think it's get your hands on the ball first and then stop the other forwards. I think it's going to be pretty straightforward, to be honest with you. And because both teams are very well matched, both are the best two teams in the comp. They both deserve to be there, both on big winning streaks. So I think for Sydney, it's the McCartan brothers.
Yeah, I think the other thing that we did speak about this a bit earlier in the week, but Taz, I think it's really important that the Sydney Tools make Geelong's defence accountable. So they need to not let Tom Stewart drop off and just pick them off at the back and make him accountable. I think that's crucial. And I think even Tom Hickey moving forward is going to be really important to make those defenders defend.
Yeah, and that's where the loss of Sam Reid really hurts. I think it's really it's the onus is on Buddy to get to just about every contest that he can, and if he's not marking, it's crushing the pack. It's bringing it down to the guys like Heaney and Papley that really they need to get their hands on it. I mean, Papley was great in that prelim. It was very good. The source of maybe a little bit of controversy towards the end, but he well and truly earned his crust in that game. Heaney, not so much. For that first half, I thought he was quiet. He struggled to get into the game for me. So he's going to need a bit of a bounce back week to really give themselves a good shot at winning this. But yeah, the onus is on Franklin to just give those small forwards, because of the lack of tools. He just needs to be crashing every pack and bringing it to ground.
I think another thing we got to think about is, who does Ryan Clark go to? Does he go to a Tom Stewart, or does he go straight to a Paddy Dangerfield? I don't think he's going to be strong enough to go run with a Dangerfield, and Dangerfield can go deep forward where Clark doesn't look comfortable there. So I think I would not be surprised if Ryan Clark goes straight to Tom Stewart to stop those intercept marks and just follows him around all day.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, and because he structures everything back there, Stewart. So I think that is a key matchup, and Clark certainly could be the one. Let's go to you, Steve. I want to talk about the forwards for Geelong. Who's more dangerous if you're a Sydney defender, Cameron or Tomahawk?
Honestly, I just think it depends on the day, to be honest. Like we've seen games with Geelong where, you know, Tom Hawkins has played second fiddle to Jeremy Cameron and vice versa. We've seen games where they've both been on it. It honestly just depends. I can't say mine's more sort of deadlier than the other at this point. Obviously, Tom Hawkins had the better prelim, but I mean, you know, like I just mentioned, that doesn't really mean anything in for the next game. It's just it makes it just as tough for the Sydney defenders when they've got two players like that, and that's not mentioning the rest of the forward line as well. It's not like you can just commit your best defender to one of them, and then let your other defenders just do other jobs, because you've got two of the best tall forwards in the competition you got to worry about. So there's a lot to sort of commit to. So I think we haven't really seen Jeremy Cameron in a lot of grand finals, and Hawkins is probably a bit more experienced in that point. So if I had to pick one, I'd say maybe Hawkins probably plays a little bit better in this game, maybe a few more goals. But yeah, it's honestly, it's just flip a coin, or just say both, I suppose.
Yeah, both super important players. Both can have a big impact, you'd have to say, on the weekend. Let's talk about the midfield battle. Tazza, this is quite important. You've obviously got some big stars in there for both teams. Who do you reckon's got the edge?
This is tough. You've got the big units of guys like Dangerfield. Guthrie will get in there and get his hands dirty. You've got the good use out of Selwood and the old guard there, Mitch Duncan, sort of sitting just behind halfback. But then the young guys of Sydney, I mean, their pressure is just manic. And I think first use is going to be crucial here, because Geelong like to play that uncontested game. So they'll get use and control the ball, whereas Sydney will, with their pressure, they're run and gun. Guys like Chad Warner, as soon as he gets his hands on the ball, his meters gained, I think he's averaging over 500 this year. So he wants to just get it forward, and that's what Sydney are about at the moment. They're just pressure football, run and gun. There's so much speed in those those guys coming off halfback as well. Guys like Justin McInerney flying off, Nick Blakey, the use out of there is it's unreal. So I mean, it's a really hard one to call for me, but I think the old guard of Geelong probably get it done out of the guts.
All right, so let's go around the table here. BT, going to you first. I'm looking for a tip. Who's winning it and why?
I'm going Geelong. I think these older boys are going to just want it that much more than what these Sydney guys are. But I don't think it's going to come down to them. I think it's going to come down to these Brad Close, Myers type players. If these guys can pop up for their between 10 and 20 possessions and kick maybe 5-6 of the goals, these smaller type forwards, I think that's where they win it. Because I think the McCartan brothers will do a good enough job. Hawkins, Cameron will definitely kick their goals, but if they can get it to these high half forwards, small forwards, I think that's where they win it. So I'm going Geelong, and I'd say I reckon around 4 goals.
Yeah, okay. Interesting call, though, on who wants it more, BT. I reckon when you make it to the grand final, everybody wants it. So it's not a matter of will. I reckon it's a matter of strategy. I reckon it's the back line. I reckon it's Geelong. I reckon Geelong's going to structure up beautifully back there. And I think grand finals tend to blow out a bit in the last quarter. So I think Geelong will go into the last quarter of the lead, and I think that'll push out to about 6 goals by the end of it. So Geelong is my tip on the day. Steve, what about you? Are you also on the Cats bandwagon?
Yeah, I am. I think they've been the best team all year. I think for me, the level of experience quite heavily outweighs that of Sydney's. So I think that plays a part as well. I can see where BT's coming from in terms of who wants it more. You know, you've got guys like Dangerfield, Selwood, Like we spoke about earlier in the week, Dangerfield, as great a player as he is, but he hasn't got a premiership to his name. So you know how much he's going to want it, and he's going to fight for everything. So I can see where BT's coming from there. But I think matchup wise, I think Geelong are just that slightly better team than Sydney. I think it'll be really close. I'll say a couple of goals, 2-3 goals at the end. But it'll be close all the way up until maybe the last 10 minutes, and then that's where it'll open up a little bit.
Nice. Tazza, round it out for us. Give us a tip, mate.
Yeah, clean sweep, boys. I think Geelong. I think six goals. I think for me, the Tom Stewart Ryan Clark matchup that BT talked about, that's a big one. But I think just the old boys, it's the last chance saloon for them. I'm not saying it is the last chance, but they are winding up. Most of those boys are winding up their careers. They know that this might be the last chance that they get in the big dance. So they're going to want it more. Like you said, you want it, but they know this. It could be it. So they will get it done.
Yeah, and I think Sydney certainly is going to be peaking as well over the next 3, 4, 5 years. BT, you've called it on this channel many times that they're a team for the future. So maybe a little bit ahead of their time, but this is not going to be a one-way contest. This is going to be a really good match. Taz, I think you make some really good points that if Sydney can nullify the back line, similar to how they did to Collingwood in the first half, but they are a real good shot at this game. So don't take this as that we're all one-sided, cats all the way. I think this is going to be a good game. And looking forward to seeing your tips as well in the comments below. If you've got any main thoughts on it, if you disagree, tell us why. Tell us why we're absolute nuffies, because we'd like to hear from you in the comments below.